From the Democratic Club, we want to welcome back Alan Feldman and Jeannie Lepowski. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Democratic Club, one of the most active clubs. Always something going on in Leisure World Village, or I'm sorry, Laguna Woods Village. Well, it tells you how long I've lived here. We used to call this place Leisure World forever and ever. But tell me a little bit about the club and some of the activities you guys are doing in general. What brings people together?
Well, mostly it's about elections and about getting Democrats elected and getting the word out about what our democratic values are. Mm-hmm.
And you guys have some candidate forums coming up. What made you guys decide, hey, we want some candidate forums? We want to get some things together as the primaries are coming up?
Yeah, well, as far as candidates, it's really important to know who it is that you have representing you. Mm-hmm. And that starts at the primary. And recently, California changed from a long-time June primary to a much earlier March primary, and we also have early voting. So for 2024, which is, from our point of view, right around the corner, right. The voting actually starts, even though it's the March primary, the voting starts on February 5th. So it's coming right up. We've got 6 months to get ready.
It's amazing. So many of the states have tried to front load those primaries, and that the gap between the primary and the general is going to be really start to look a lot bigger. But you guys have a fun one coming up, Barbara Lee event. Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah. Well,
there are actually 3 candidates running for California Senator. Barbara Lee is one of them. We've invited all 3 to come at various times. Right now, Barbara Lee is the first one up, but we're not endorsing any of the candidates yet. Okay, there are 3 Democratic candidates. They're all strong candidates. So on February 22nd,
21st.
July 21st. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong note here. Okay, on July 21st, Friday, Barbara Lee is going to be here. She's going to be talking to us here in Laguna Woods at the Performing Arts Center. Mm-hmm. She's going to start at 11:30 and she'll go until 12:30. And we're going to offer the opportunity for residents to ask her questions. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is the most important thing that a candidate can do, is to interact with voters and get their questions answered. Mm-hmm. So there will be 2 microphones. People can ask questions as long as Barbara Lee is willing to stay and answer them. Mm-hmm.
And this Democratic primary is going to be interesting. We have it's starting to almost look like a little bit of a crowded field. 3 now, maybe 4 coming, and some people are still contemplating, but only 1 on the Republican side, which could mean, a lot of Democrats are thinking, we'll have 2 Democrats on the ticket for the general, but it could be that the Republicans, all rally behind that one candidate. So it's very interesting to see who's going to emerge from this on this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the questions, of course, that we're asking ourselves is, we love all 3 of those candidates, but how do we decide?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So that support, where that support's going to come from. We also have the candidate forum coming up. Alan, tell us a little about that.
Yes, we do. We love having the national and national candidates, statewide candidates. Barbara Lee, it's kind of dessert, the cherry on top. Starting this Tuesday, tomorrow, July 18th, at our regular meeting, Clubhouse 2 at 7 p.m., we're going to get into the main course of what we do, the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter, and that is bringing candidates for running in our local area to Laguna Woods. And we're having a candidates forum. Mm-hmm. We have 2 candidates running in the 40th Congressional District, and that's the district that covers most of Laguna Woods. Mm-hmm. Joe Kerr, who is a retired captain in the Orange County Fire Authority, is one of the candidates, and Allison Demopoulos, who is currently an elected trustee on the Tustin School Board, is the other candidate running. Mm-hmm. And people will be able to see them side by side, compare them, listen to what they have to say. They can introduce themselves to the people at Laguna Woods. We were also planning another forum for the State Senate District, the 37th District. Okay. But one of the candidates, State Senator Josh Newman, and he's a state senator now, but he represents a different district. Redistricting has moved him into our district. Oh, okay. He had committed to come, but life interfered. So he will be here at another time. But the other candidate, Alex Muhajar, is going to be here, he's going to appear, he's going to speak and answer questions. Alex is currently the president of the Stonewall Democratic Club, and he is a political activist, and he's making his first foray into elective politics. And I look at this, these are job interviews.
Right.
You know, they're asking us to hire them to be our representative of Congress, our representative in the state Senate, and most job hiring processes, an interview is a big part of it.
Right.
This is
Where
our
do you
opportunity.
stand? What are you going to do? And I think this is a great opportunity, like you said, in a small forum for you guys to be able to ask those questions. Where do you stand here? What do you plan to do here? How will you be effective
Exactly.
as a legislator and make the changes and make the reforms that we're looking for, right? So
Right.
This is that opportunity.
You know, it's an opportunity for that, and I mean, the two things we do during elections kind of go hand in hand. Number one, we try to get people to vote. You know, that's the most important thing, is to vote, and we try to get people to vote the entire ballot. Don't stop at the top.
Right.
Because local elections are so important. I mean, and you know, it's very difficult for local candidates to break through, to get themselves known, especially in a presidential year.
Right.
And that's one of the things we try to do. When you really think about it, is if you have a problem with Medicare, you have a problem with Social Security, or veterans benefits, you're going to call your congressperson's office to help you.
You don't have a direct line to the White House.
Right, and the state says you can call your senator's office too, but their constituency is the whole state. You know, and in the state legislature, the decisions made there, the laws that are passed there, they have certainly a much more immediate effect, and I think much more of a direct effect on our day-to-day lives. And that's all the way down the ballot, all those obscure agencies and boards and county offices. You know, the El Toro Water Authority, that's an elected board. They make decisions that determine the
Where
quality,
they're buying the water, the quality of the water that's coming in.
the price of it. And
Right.
That's right. Public transportation, another thing. Very important to a lot of people in Laguna Woods. A lot of people don't drive, don't want to drive. But simple things like bus schedules, train schedules, how many trains and buses run, those are decided at a local level. Those are decided by the people that we elect.
Right.
And also now, we see in Orange County and throughout the country how important school board and
School board elections have become a very hot topic.
That's
and
right.
Very politicized, where they really weren't. It was really a nonpartisan effort for so long, and just focused on the schools. And now it's become this kind of hot button.
That's right. There's people running that education isn't their primary concern. Ideology is their primary concern. And that's fine for some people. Some people are looking for that. But you know, we want voting is the most fundamental way to participate in our government. And you don't want to leave that decision to somebody else.
Right.
So we bring candidates, try to bring as many candidates as possible so that people can make an informed decision, know what people stand for, know what they're talking about, have some idea.
Right. And Jeannie, you want to get to this last one? You have the August forum coming up with a really interesting speaker.
Yeah, this goes more to, that isn't about elections, but more to the values that we hold as American citizens, frankly, and that's the separation of church and state. And as our viewers might know, back in 1979 in Iran, there was what was called the Islamic Revolution, a successful revolution which imposed a religious-oriented government on the citizens of Iran. And one of the outcomes of that election was restriction on women's rights. And so that was, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And back in September of last year, a woman by the name of Mahsa Amini was arrested by the morality police, and she was arrested for the crime of not wearing her hijab properly.
Right.
And while she was arrested, she reportedly was tortured, and then she was transferred to a hospital where she died. So she died for not wearing her hijab properly.
And so your speaker's going to be talking about that in a little bit, and even more.
She's going to be talking about specifically the rights of women in Iran. And our speaker, Alahi Amani, she was educated at the University of Tehran. She also studied at UCLA. She worked at Cal State Long Beach for a long time. She's a trained mediator, and she has worked with immigrant communities in Southern California, particularly Middle Eastern, South Asian, and Iranian women. And her focus is on women's rights and on women's right to have agency in their political and personal lives.
Okay. Well, Alan and Jeannie, a great time, real exciting time to be part of the Democratic Club. A lot of great events coming up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us. I really appreciate
Thanks.
it.
We'll be right back with some announcements and a recap on the weather. Stay with us.